Hello everyone! Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video on decluttering prepared, and regardless of whether you have just gotten started or if you're pretty far into your decluttering process, I feel like the points I'm about to list come in handy either way. Decluttering can be quite hard and time consuming for a multitude of reasons, one of them being that we are forced to face every wrong purchasing decision that we have ever made, and we come face to face with and go through a myriad of difficult emotions as we reevaluate the items that once held utility in our lives but are now just past their due dates and should probably be leaving. Keeping these things in mind, today's video is going to be focusing on decluttering 3 things that makes us feel bad. And I'm jumping right into this video with a tough truth, because the first thing I'm going to be mentioning and talking about is sentimental items. Some of the things that have sentimental value to us brings us a sense of joy, and these are not the things that I advocate that you should be decluttering, but usually the things that we hold on to of sentimental value that brings us joy, we tend to find a place for in our life. They are to some degree useful, either in utility or emotional value. But the items I'm talking about is those sentimental items that actually doesn't bring us joy, even if the item is tied to someone we care about or the item is tied to memories that we care about. Sometimes the item will leave you with a sad feeling of melancholia instead. Amongst other things, we tend to hold on to sentimental items that makes us feel sad because it's either tied to memories we hold dear, or a person that we cared about, or a version of ourselves that lived a different life. But the fortunate truth is that our love for that person or our fond memories aren't going anywhere. They are truly not tied to an object, and sometimes it can be a huge relief to permit yourself to let go of items that evoke nothing but sadness or melancholia for you. I truly believe that you owe it to yourself for your belongings to support the person that you are in the present. You've likely come very far and learned much over the years, so it's really not fair to the person that you have become to not support them fully and try tying them to the past with inanimate objects that does not make them or you, of course, because it's you, feel good. And just as it might make you feel guilty thinking of getting rid of that item, not allowing yourself to go through that process, you're just keeping the guilt around. So you're just trading one type of guilt for another. I felt as if myself that something that is really helpful here in the process of actually doing so and saying goodbye is to go full Marie Kondo on it and thank the item for its time with you and then say goodbye. The next thing you might want to declutter that is making you feel bad are expensive mistakes. Let's face the music. You are not getting that money back, and you are not going to get your money's worth of that item either if you are not going to wear it. If you have never gotten around to wear this item as of yet, regardless of the price tag, you probably won't in the future either, and all this item is doing is cultivating guilt. Well, I said you're not getting that money back, but actually that's not true, because if you do decide on letting go of the piece, if it is something expensive and has a resale value, you'll be able to sell it and at least get some of your money back and rid yourself of that guilt in the process. One thing that I have personally liked to do to help me let go of expensive or what sometimes feels like stupid mistakes is that I make a short diary entrance or a little list about what buying this item would have taught me, so that it wasn't for nothing. This can be a list of large or small things like I'll never wear an expensive dress gown, or I don't like velvet. Whatever it is, write it down so that at least you learned something. And if you are someone who likes nice things and want to know how to better make sure that you'll get use out of your expensive items in the future, so it feels like less of a risk to buy them. I have about a dozen or more videos up already on my channel about how to make smarter purchasing decisions and be more certain that you are purchasing something that you will actually wear. So I'll link my own favorites of these at the end of this video. The next thing you might want to declutter that is just making you feel bad are items that are too small. And not just items that are too small, just items that doesn't fit in general, but where you can often tailor an item that is simply not perfectly fitting or that is too large. It's just impossible to do so with an item that is smaller. The majority of my viewers are women, and I think a lot of us have in common that we have this idea that we might lose weight. The things that are just too small, it's probably best to just get rid of them. I would never advocate for you to keep things around that is in any way making you feel inadequate or as if you aren't good enough as you are, and that absolutely does not mean that we can strive for change, but guilting yourself into doing so with smaller clothes is probably not the way. If you own something that you truly love and that no longer fits and you can't bring yourself to let go of it, I totally get it. I actually have one pair of pants like this myself that I could fit a couple of years ago that no longer does, and just in case I have kept them, so they are in storage, and I would advocate that you do the same if you do have something that is too small but that actually means a lot, or that you treasure, or that is special, or that you would truly hate to get rid of. At the very least, get it out of sight, out of mind, and put it in storage. Do not keep it with the everyday clothes that you enjoy on a daily basis. Regardless of how spiritual you are or not, it's just a fact that the things around you are going to take up some sort of mental space, even if you don't believe that your items are taking up space at all time in your mind. You certainly have to make time for them later on as you move them around, clean around them, move them aside to look for something else, or later have to make the decision whether to declutter them or not. And so if any of the items you have are cultivating guilt or any other negative emotion, or is in any way preventing you from just enjoying yourself exactly as who you are, I would suggest you think about freeing yourself from some of it. For every rule I talk about or follow myself, there is almost always an exception to it where I don't. And my reasoning for mentioning that is just regardless of all these rules or tips, don't forget that there is always an exception to the rule, and it's up to you to decide when a rule applies to you or your items and when it doesn't. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate giving it a thumbs up so that I know. It really does help out my channel. And if you're here for the first time and not already subscribed, then consider doing that, because I make videos like this one all the time and I would love to keep you around. Thanks for watching and